We have some breaking news coming out of Edmonton this morning and a shocking Oiler update that nobody saw coming between the pipes. All that more today on Oilers Digest as we break down what was just announced here by multiple members of the Oilers media. And we will break down if it could be a make or break situation for the Edmonton Oilers, much similar to a 2006 situation. I'll explain further. But first, we just hit 3,000 subscribers on the channel, on the road to 4,000. If you haven't already, hit that button down below. Make sure you subscribe for any and all Oiler content, whether it's good content, whether it's unfortunate content like today's news, or it could be fortunate content, depending on how the game goes tonight. But make sure you hit that button down below. But let's get right into the news coming out of Edmonton. Morning skate or a morning skate at Rogers Place. The Oilers on this roll, 6-game winning streak for the team, and tonight against the Golden Knights at 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain at Rogers Place, or the Terror Dome, as many are trying to shoehorn that name into the equation there. But the Oilers have a chance to go up 3-0, and multiple goaltenders in Oiler history went 6-0. Andy Moe, Grant Fuhr, both Stanley Cup winning goalies for the Oilers in Cal Pickard, but the Oilers will be without him or won't be without him tonight. It all depends on how he's feeling later on there, but chances are he is leaning towards not starting for the Oilers tonight. As you can see in game 2, Brett Kulak pushing Tomas Hertl onto the left leg of Cal Pickard. Pickard seemed to had been sort of flexing that left leg there, and it came up very, very slowly there. And from TSN's Ryan Rashog says, notable Cal Pickard not on the ice before the morning skate when the goalies get some warm up done. Olivier Rodrigue and Stuart Skinner only there. Mark Spector on the below tweet there says Stu Skinner in starter's net for Edmonton as practice begins. Pickard could be hurt, but it could be subterfuge, but that's how it is at 10:27, so I don't think it's any mind games. I think Cal Pickard is feeling the effects of that left leg injury. As Jim Matheson says, the two dinosaurs of the Edmonton sports world, says, well, Pickard was flexing his left leg after Hertl fell on him in game 2, as we saw. Pickard doesn't usually take game day skates off, and he was on the ice yesterday as well, though, so very unfortunate news for the Oilers, but again, could be fortunate. It all depends on how Stuart Skinner performs tonight between the pipes for the Oilers. I know in the first 2 games we never wanted to see Stuart Skinner as the starter ever again, and I'm saying that very, very lightly, but Cal Pickard came in, took the reins, and has been guiding the Oilers towards the promised land there. But of course, we can't have anything nice there. But from TSN's Ryan Rashog, of course, Skinner in the starter's net, and lines and pairs remain the same here for the Oilers. But of course, it sounds like Pickard may have been on the ice before the main group. That would be unusual for a player expected to start. We'll see what Kris Knoblauch says. Of course, the Oilers are still on the ice as we speak there, so we'll have to wait a bit before we see what Kris Knoblauch says regarding the news regarding the Oilers goaltending situation. I'm still in a daze about it. I saw the news on Twitter and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, no, no. I said oh no a whole bunch, but for Stuart Skinner in Cal Pickard there, of course, we all saw Stuart Skinner take the reins again from Cal Pickard last year in the Vancouver series, and he was lights out since that, so I don't know if we'll see that again this year, or we'll just see Vegas come back there. But the lines in pairings from this morning's skate, of course, TSN's Ryan Rashog said they were the same with Draisaitl, McDavid in Perry, Evander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Zach Hyman, Trent Frederick, Adam Henrique, and Connor Brown, and then the dynamite fourth line staying together there with Vasily Podkolzin, Matisse Yamark, and Victor Arvidsson there, with Jeff Skinner, Kasper Captain, Max Jones, and Derek Ryan all as the extra skaters there. The back end remains the same as well, with Darnell Nurse and Evan Bouchard, Jake Wallman and John Klingberg, and then Brett Kulak in Ty Emberson, with Troy Stetcher as the extra defenseman there, with Stuart Skinner in the starters crease and Olivier Rodrigue backing him up there. And from Leon Draisaitl in the depth of this Oilers team says it's everything. It's truly everything. Our depth has been, for the most part, carrying us through these playoffs, and they're the reason we're in this spot right now. It doesn't matter what line it is there. You can see all 12 forwards currently in the Oilers lineup have scored a goal in the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs there, with Leon Draisaitl the first Oiler to score 2 overtime goals in the same playoffs since Esa Tikkanen in the 1991 playoffs. Connor McDavid, multiple. Corey Perry, the Worm, still doing his thing in the playoffs there. Evander Kane, since coming back from his multiple surgeries in, taking the entire regular season off, not having played a game in 10 months. He's been phenomenal, almost like he hasn't missed a beat. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, the Nuge is still huge. Zach Hyman, this team is deep. I know multiple people were saying, this team, no depth, they're old, they're slow, they can't do anything, but you can see all 12 forwards. When's the last time all 12 forwards in the Oilers lineup scored a goal in any playoffs? I don't think you'd have to go back to maybe the 90s. Who knows? I mean, this team is deep there, but multiple players scoring big time goals in big time moments. I mean, Trent Frederick, the game winning goal in game 6 against the Los Angeles Kings, the guy's been on one ankle, but it doesn't simply seem like that. He's been a phenomenal pickup for the Oilers ever since we were skeptical on when he's going to play for this team there. And even playoff Matisse Janmark showing his head, same playoff Connor Brown. I mean, those two seem to turn it up in the postseason when it matters there. So during the regular season, I'm gonna lay off the criticism until I see these guys in the second week of April turning it on when it matters there. Not just that, but the fans at Rogers Place expected to bring the Oilers some more home ice advantage. I expect an outstanding atmosphere where our players are very motivated and feel good in the environment. That loud orange crush as we seem to see on TV, or if you're there. I mean, I went to Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final last year, and I saw exactly in person how monstrous that atmosphere can be. The fans bring it every night in the playoffs, and it's been phenomenal. I know that we enjoy that, and I would expect it'll be a great atmosphere. Now, the question remains with Stuart Skinner here. I know I've been dogging on him multiple times here, but the question still remains there. I mean, the last time he faced Las Vegas in the Stanley Cup playoffs, he was pulled 3 times in favor for veteran netminder Jack Campbell there. He only finished, 3 out of these 6 games, putting up an 848. A 968, 826, 960. So it seemed to be, one opposite end of the spectrum or the other with Skinner. He was either lights out that game or just didn't really do a whole lot there. And of course, Kris Knoblauch relied on Cal Pickard a lot more than Jay Woodcroft relied on Jack Campbell, because I don't think myself or anybody trusted Jack Campbell after that atrocious regular season that he had. So we'll either see that, or could we see again a resurgence after Stuart Skinner came in back in during the Vancouver series there. You can see the Dallas series pretty good, except for that 8-10 that he put up in game 3 there. But other than that, I mean, 900s all across the board there. And I mean, the first 3 games of the Stanley Cup Final, but Bobrovsky was on some other stuff there. But in the four games after that, including game 7, I mean, again, 900. So the Oilers don't even need, a goalie to steal every single game. They just need a goalie that will help them win, and that's exactly why Cal Pickard has been, a fan favorite, or an emerging fan favorite here in Oil Country there, because he wasn't Dominic Hasek or Patrick Waugh, but he allowed the team to get the big win when it matters there. And really, that's all you need. That is all you need. That's how low the bar is for the Oilers in goaltending. You don't need someone fantastic. You just need someone good enough, and that's what Cal Pickard has been doing. I mean, we've overlooked his, I do believe 872 in the last game, something like that. It was in the 870s, but he still got the win over Adin Hill, and that's what matters. Stuart Skinner couldn't outduel Adin Hill, but Cal Pickard up to this point, up to, game 3, has been, but I mean, that's not really hard to do. Adin Hill's been atrocious these first 2 games anyways there, but for Stuart Skinner, again, I'm not completely, losing all faith, but I mean, it's rapidly deteriorating if we're going to get the same 74 we saw in the first 2 games of the LA series. Now, when it comes to the Vegas Golden Knights, it hasn't been confirmed just yet. They still have yet to hit the ice for their morning skate, but it could be something similar to this. I know the line blender came out in game 2 after game 1 there, with William Karlsson being demoted off that top line there with Ivan Barbashev, Jack Eichel, Mark Stone, Brandon Saad, Tomas Hertl, public enemy number 1 in Edmonton so far in this series. There could be multiple public enemies number 1 from the Vegas side in Edmonton, but Victor Olofsson rounds out that second line with Brett Howden, William Karlsson, and Riley Smith, and Tanner Pearson, Nicholas Waugh. And Nicholas Waugh. lot to say about him. And then Keegan Colasar with Braden McNabb, not too sure on his status after he was unfortunately tripped into the boards by Victor Arvidsson there. That went uncalled. I'm still hearing about that with Shea Theodore, Nicholas Hay, Alex Pietrangelo, and then Noah Hannafin and Zach Whitecloud with Aiden Hill starting for the Vegas Golden Knights. But folks, I mean, it's a lot. It's a whirlwind of a morning so far. But let me know down in the comments what you think about Stuart Skinner starting for the Oilers tonight. I mean, I've got lots to say about him, and I'm sure you do too. So let me know down in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe here to the channel for any and all Oiler news. Enjoy the game tonight, folks. Let's go Oilers. You know what? Let's get the win tonight. Let's go up 3-0 in this series. I feel it. Hopefully you feel it, and then all the rabid fans in Rogers Place, hopefully they feel it tonight as well. But folks, enjoy the game tonight. Take care. I'm Matt.